Hey traders, this is a strategy lab video, and in today's video I will talk about the guidelines for discretionary swing identification. Okay, so discretion, unlike mechanical system, unlike algorithms, is something that has no rigid rules. It is something that has guidelines, as I told you. It is something that has principles. So these principles or guidelines help you stay objective, and at the same time you have the right to choose. You are not that bounded with by the algorithm rules. Okay, you have more freedom. Okay, so let us start. What I'm looking at is this unified Gartley, and I will draw the unified Gartley from here to here, back again to here and here. So according to these rules, it is completed. So to be more precise, I would place it here. This is a better place, but it doesn't make any much different. Okay. Anyway, when you place your stop loss at X, you should pay attention to this spike and place your stop loss above both. Okay. But the difference is very small, either this or that. Okay, let's talk about the guidelines. Guideline number 1. It is very simple. Either X or A or both should be a daily high or low. When I say daily high or low, I mean that when I trade 1 hour time frame, my daily is my high time frame. But if you trade 4 hour time frame, your daily would be weekly high or low. Yes, if you trade 5 minute, your daily would mean 1 hour or something of that, whatever you treat as your higher time frame. So either X or A or both, should be a daily high or low. So it means that at least one of them should be a daily high. In this case, this X is not a daily high, so the day ends here, the day starts here, it is the session breaks, so the highest high is here. That's why I would prefer the X point to coincide with this point, because it is a daily high. But it is okay to stay here because it is almost a daily high of this day. You see, it is slightly higher than the daily high of this day from here to here, so it doesn't actually very much different. Okay, second thing is a bit different, and it is based on this guideline. YX leg, I call YX leg is the leg that is prior to XA. YX should be greater or equal to what? To any subwave inside XA leg. So let me draw a YX leg. Let this YX leg look this way. Let it be black, some neutral, and let me label it Y. Okay, so this is a YX movement, YX leg, and you can see we have some subwaves inside of XA leg. Yes, subwaves are minor waves inside of greater wave. So we have subwaves here, and the Y-axis is greater than any of them, whatever. Visually, this looks like the X to A leg being straight. Okay, it makes the XA leg straight. And there is additional guideline here to this. It is called this way. AB leg should also be greater or equal any subwave of XA leg. Hope you understand this as well. Of course, if we have the A to B this way, yes, it should be greater than any of them. You can do it a bit different way. You first find the largest subwave inside of X to A. I think it is this one, yes, it is the largest subwave, and then you compare it to AB. So you see the AB is much larger, or to YX. So if this criteria are met, then the guideline is the principle is met. Okay, next. By the way, if I draw the pattern from here to here like this, then my subwave, prior wave will be this. You see, yes, and whatever we had here turns into YX subwave. Okay, if it turns into a subwave, then let us measure this subwave. It is 51.6, and it should be less than Y to X leg, and it is less. So you don't break any guidelines, you don't break any principles if you draw the pattern this way, and although you have this movement, it is still okay. Let us measure it once again and compare to the second leg like this. It is less than A to B, you see, less than YX and less than AB. Okay, many times I saw people drawing charts, drawing patterns this way, something of this kind. Many times I saw them drawing this way. Having these huge subwaves breaks the rule of, breaks the second guideline, yes? So you see, it is greater than the previous prior movement, and it is, well, it's not greater than AB, but it is greater than prior movement. So try to avoid those situations when you have this large subwaves inside of X to A. Okay, hope you understood this. Now let's go to the next guideline. And the next guideline may be the simplest out of all guidelines. In order for a pattern to be identifiable or noticeable, it should be not very small. When the pattern is very small, it is very hard to identify the pattern. So let us standardize the patterns, and it will be standardized this way. AB leg is greater or equals to the ACS. In brackets, I will tell you what the ACS is. It is average correction size. Average correction size. And it is calculated as 3 multiplied ATR period 30. See? So the AB should be greater than 3 multiplied ATR period 30. Open your indicators, find your, where is that? ATR, average true range, yes. Then here at the B point, it will be very good. You look at your ATR, it says 1724. You multiply 1724 multiplied by 3, and you have 0.5172. So 5172. And when you measure your leg here, instead of 51 and 7, you have 87.2. 87.2. It is much greater. 87 is much greater than 51. So So this is the way you calculate 3 ATR. Another way to make it much faster is simply go to the MPS and look at the first number here. It is the 3 ATR distance. It is printed here. That's it. Okay, now we will continue next with another guideline, or well, you may call it rule, but it is not actually a rule. It is a guideline. Okay, so let's start with this second guideline. 1, 2, 3, guideline number 4. It will help you with swing identification as well. So this guideline says that any swing should meet minimal swing requirement. Okay, now let me explain what it means. What is minimal swing requirement? So we'll go to maybe empty space of the chart and we will draw some candles. So suppose we have a bull swing that consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, and then we have a bearish swing. Okay, and it consists of 2 swings, and then we again have a bull swing that continues to the upside. Okay, so what is the minimal requirement for this movement? Minimal requirement for a correction. It is not difficult to identify this movement. It is pretty large, but should you skip it? Should you skip this movement and draw a straight line, or you should not skip this movement? Okay, so the minimal requirement says if inside of potential correction that you're looking at, yes, it is not yet a correction until you make a final decision. If inside of this potential correction you have 2 candles that are opposite to a prior swing, 2 red candles, yes, then the low of this correction, the extreme, inverse for opposite, then the high of that correction, in this case it is a low of this correction, should be at least the lowest low of previous 2 candles. And in this example we have it this way: it is lower than first candle and it is lower than first candle as well. Even if the candles are this, then again this low is lower than the first candle and then the second candle. It also meets minimal correction requirements. So any leg of your pattern, YX, X to A to B, B to C, and C to D, should meet this minimal requirement. Okay, but sometimes we don't have 2 candles. Yes, sometimes we have only 1 candle that is opposite, like this. Can we have a correction in this case? Yes, we can have a correction, and the minimal correction for this situation will say this: it should be the lowest low of previous 3 candles. So right now it is lower than this, and this, and then this. So it is lower than previous 3 candles. It doesn't matter what was the candle. So maybe this was this and this was that. So it was bearish, then it was bullish, then we gapped, and it is a bullish once again. And if when we gapped we have the lowest low of 3, then we meet the criteria. Or it can be this way, of course. Yes, it was bullish, then we gapped, it was bullish once again, and then we moved to the downside and we gapped to the upside. And in this case we have it 1, 2, 3. Okay, in all these examples we were using 1, 2, 3 candles correction. Can correction consist of 2 candles? Yes, it can. It can consist of 2 candles if it meets minimal correction requirement. So what is the minimal correction requirements? If we only have one red candle, it should be the lowest low of 3 previous candles. So what is the lowest low of previous 3? So we should find 1, 2, 3. It should be lower than this. In case we have this kind of correction, then we can have 2 adjacent candles forming a correction, in case we have it this way. But suppose we also have this red correction, yes? Then it can be the lowest low of 2. So not necessarily it goes beyond the third, but it can go beyond the second. So 1 and 2. Okay, so this is the minimal requirement of correction. When you have 1 candle, then it should go the lowest low of 3. When you have 2 candles, then it should go the lowest low of 2. Okay, so can correction consist of 1 candle? Yes, it can. It can easily. But when we have, in case of 1 candle correction, what we need, we have 1 opposite candle, and this 1 candle should only be the lowest low of 3. There is no variation. You cannot have 2 candles out of 1. Yes, you only have 1 candle. That's why you only have a valid correction when you have 1 candle in this case. So this is 1, 2, 3. So what you do, you draw a swing to the high of that, to the low of this, and continue to the high of this. If you don't notice how I draw it, then it should be this blue, then you go here, and then you go there. Hope you understood. Okay, if you have more candles than this, more than 2, then you have no problems at all. Okay, now let's consider an example. Let's travel through this X to A all the way and back to B, and let us examine all the subwaves using the principles of minimal correction requirements, minimal swing requirements. So we will zoom it in, we will go here. Okay, so we start the movement here, we go here, and we have opposite movement. Is this a correction? When you have 1 candle, it should extend past previous 3 candles. So we have 1, 2, 3. If only it would extend above that, then it would be a good correction. Okay, then we skip it. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. Okay, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and several candles greater than 1. Yes, we have 2, at least 2. And when we have at least 2, then the only requirement is left, that it should be the highest high of previous 2 candles. So 1 and 2, it is obviously it is the highest high not of 2 candles. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles. It is the highest high of previous 8 candles. So this correction is okay. So what I will do, I will draw it here, change it to blue, then I will draw here. Okay, now let's continue. Then we have some minor movement. Is this a swing to the downside? First of all, we have two opposite candles. Yes, when we have 2 opposite candles, we are looking at the lowest low of 2. So 1, 2, okay, we have a wonderful swing. Then we have a kind of correction. It consists of 1 bull candle, only 1 candle, yes, and it says that the highest high of that correction should be the highest high of 3. So 1, 2, 3, indeed it is the highest high of 3, so we shouldn't skip this, it should be marked. Okay, now let's go further. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 candles in a row that are moving, and of course the lowest low of that is lower than 1, 2, 3 previous. It is lower than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is the lowest low of 10. So obviously it is a correct swing. Okay, now we have a kind of correction. It consists of 2 candles, and the guideline says that if you have 2 candles of opposite color, then the highest high should be higher than the previous 2. And 1 and 2, it is higher. That's why it meets the minimal correction requirement. Okay, now let's go further. Here we have a swing to the downside. It only have one bearish candle, yes, and when you have one opposite candle, the lowest low of the swing should be lower than the previous two. Okay, let us see. It is lower than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It is lower than previous 15. Is it enough? Enough, of course. Okay, then we have two green candles in opposite direction, followed by red candles, yes? So when we have two, then the guideline says that the highest high of the correction should be higher than previous two candles, and it is higher than 1, 2, 3. So enough. It is higher than 3. Okay, then we have a movement to the downside. It consists of one bearish candle and one bullish candle, yes? So when we have one bearish candle, the low of this movement should be lower than the previous 3, yes? And let's calculate. It is lower than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and blah 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 blah. I don't know. It is lower than 20 previous candles. So that's why we should draw it this way. Then we have a movement to the upside that looks this way, one candle movement to the upside. When we have one candle movement to the upside, it should extend higher than the previous 3 candles. Is this higher than previous 3? No, it is not. After that, we move lower. You see, we were moving lower, upside movement is not okay, and then we move even lower. So in this case, we skip an upside movement because it is not valid and move lower again. Okay, here we have an upside movement that consists of one bullish candle and the second candle is bearish, so the highest high is here. And the guideline says that the highest high of this candle, the highest high of this swing, potential swing, should be higher than the previous 3 candles, and it is higher than first and not higher than the second. That's why we should skip this. And we go all the way downside, all the way to the downside. So we have this picture. We have this straight movement, then we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe Elliott wave sequence, followed by correction, and then we have another movement, larger movement. Okay, let me sip a coffee. Now let's continue with our swing analysis. So we have a movement opposite to previous downside movement, yes? We have an opposite movement. It consists of one bullish candle, and when we have one candle, it should be the highest high of 3. So at 1, 2, 3, no, it doesn't meet the criteria. Then we have a series of bearish candles, yes? Bearish candles are moving in the same direction that we have a swing, so we should do nothing, yes? Then we have another bullish candle, yes, and its high is higher than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is higher than 6. So this movement started here, like this, and it continued here. Oh, sorry. Because here we have a potential downside move, yes? Okay, with this potential downside move, we have 2 candles, bearish candles, and the low of this correction, it goes here, yes, lower than that. The low of this correction is lower than previous 1, 2 candles. Enough to be lower than 2, but it is lower than 4. That's why we cannot skip this, and we go to have it this way. Then, obviously, we extend to the upside. We have 2 bull candles, and the high of that is higher than previous many candles, all the way to this. Of course, when you have impulses, it is very simple. Only correction is a difficult place. Okay, then you have a bearish candle that forms a kind of correction, and this correction is low, should be lower than previous 3. 1, 2, 3. It's not even lower than the first one. That's why we extend our line further. So this is a straight movement. Okay, then we have a correction that consists of this bearish candle and this spike to the downside. So in this case, when we have one candle, it should be lower than previous 3. So the lowest low of this correction is lower than 1, 2, and 3. That's why we draw it to the downside, like this. Okay, and when we spike it through, we have an impulse and we draw it to the upside. Very simple methodology how you fit your minimal correction requirements. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, B, C. Then we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should have A, B, C, or whatever. So it is I like counting these minor waves to see if we fit the LED wave sequence or not, because many of these patterns are based on LED wave sequence. Okay, so what we have for now? Now we have the guidelines to measure minimal requirements. So the Y to X leg should also have minimal requirement. So it has bearish, it has one bullish candle, and this bullish candle should be the highest of 1, 2, 3. So it meets that. It meets that requirement very well. Okay. Now, also these minor subwaves are very good if you draw them. Yes, if you recognize them, then break of any minor subwave can be your signal for entry. For example, break of this is your signal for entry. Okay, come on, like this here, and here you draw your minor subwaves, and break of the neckline can be a signal for entry. Something like this. Then they can help you. Either the pattern will work or not work. The pattern gives you a major structure. You can even switch to, let us switch to 15-minute. Yes, and on 15-minute you have a swing identification already drawn based on this charting technique, and you can draw the patterns according to that. X to A to B to C to D. Wonderful unified got me on 15-minute. Then you skip everything here. Then you draw the pattern here. X to A, one swing at a time. Yes, it will be very good. To B to C, and it extends here, I suppose. Yes, you have that bounce to the upside is your target, 3 to target. Then you go here, you don't have anything, and then we don't have any swings here, but I bet we have some patterns here as well. So 2 minor patterns. If you like to do that kind of analysis, you can draw swings on your daily and then switch to 1 hour to draw patterns, you see, and this will be very okay. So we have previous patterns. I will delete this, and I will delete this as well. Any of these swings should be at least the minimal requirement. So you see, not only it meets the minimal requirement, it also these minimal requirements are subwaves. It is major. And another rule. What was another rule? I forgot. Suppose I forgot the rule. Maybe these are everything. Let me look at my notes. I do the identification almost automatically. I say automatically, not because I use a software. I use my brain, and it recognizes that automatically. Okay. Oh yes. This is one rule. that I have. So you should have a picture. You should have a picture in MetaTrader. Yes, you should have a picture. Let's open some chart. $1 hour. Okay, you should have a picture zoomed in this way, and it should contain the information of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, 11 days, not more than 11. It should be 10 days. And when you draw a pattern, it should be the pattern that has the X to A lag not more than 5 days. So when you have 1, 2, 3, it should be your X to A. By the way, do you have a cipher here? A to B to C. Oh, maybe this one. And 4 hour. Oh guys, I'm a stupid idiot. To draw a cipher I need to enable cipher. Okay, this is the cipher. It hit the stop loss order. Well, what I was talking about, 5 days. So in this situation, the distance between X and A is only 2 days. First day, second day, yes. But if it is greater than 5 days, then you will need to zoom the chart out and out and out to fit your pattern into your screen, yes. And this is not good, zooming the chart out and in and out. It is not good. You should stay within the same zooming thing. This way you train your eyes to recognize your patterns and swings under similar conditions. So when candles become smaller, you are recognizing your swings different way. You are mostly looking at major turns. When the chart is zoomed out like this, then you will most likely see these minor movements, yes. So you should have some golden mean, golden ratio when it is not zoomed out very much and when it is not zoomed in very much. So your chart should stay the same, and when you move the chart and look at the history, you should always stay the same when you do the back test, and you should not zoom the chart in and zoom the chart out. This is a very great mistake, because when you zoom the chart out, your brain works one way, and when you zoom the chart in, your brain works another way. So you have two ways of work, and you are not consistent because of that. Yesterday you were working this way, today you are working another way, analyzing a different way. That's why you have inconsistent results, sorry, not consistent. Okay, well, that's it. Let me type the final guideline. 5, the XA lag should not be greater than 5 days. And of course, if you trade dailies or for hours, it should not be 5 weeks or whatever you use as your higher time frame. Maybe 5 months if you trade dailies. It should not be greater than 5 days. So these 1, 2, 3, 5 guidelines that will make your swing identification objective. Hope that's it. Well, write me your comments subscribe to my next episodes. If you are interested in the MPS5 pattern recognition software that is analyzing these multiple algorithms and using these multiple patterns, yes, or even drawing them manually, if you are interested in it, you are welcome to visit my website www.ps-software.net. The link is in description, and you can also learn more about the patterns that I use for free. Just click this Learn the Patterns tab and you will have the complete trading courses on these patterns absolutely for free. Okay, and until then, good luck and good trading. Hope to see you soon.